Hey everyone, welcome back. It's time for another deep dive. And this one, well, it's going to be a little bit different.
Yeah, definitely a bit more somber.
Yeah, we lost a good one recently. Brian Matusz, former Baltimore Orioles pitcher. And the tributes have been pouring in, especially from the Baltimore community. So we're going to try to go a little deeper today.
Absolutely. You know, beyond the headlines, we really want to explore what made him so special to so many people, not just his talent on the field, but also the kind of person he was off the field.
Exactly. So we've got some excerpts from a video tribute that was put together, and we're going to sort of use that as our guide.
Great.
So the video starts off by taking us back to his childhood, Grand Junction, Colorado.
Yeah.
And you can just picture this little kid completely in love with baseball.
Yeah, just that pure joy, when you're a kid and it's all about the love of the game.
Right. And it's interesting because even back then, everyone could see his passion. It wasn't just a hobby for him. It was more like a calling.
Totally. And you can trace that passion all the way through his journey. From those early days in Colorado to his incredible college career at the University of San Diego.
Right. It's like he was always destined for the big leagues.
It seems that way.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the big moment came in 2008 when the Baltimore Orioles drafted him 4th overall.
Wow, what a moment that must have been. I mean, can you imagine being plucked from college and thrown into the major leagues?
I mean, talk about pressure.
Right. Exhilarating and terrifying all at the same time.
Absolutely. And he made his debut pretty quickly, August 4, 2009, against the Detroit Tigers.
I remember watching that game. His changeup was absolutely devastating hitters. Just couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, he was throwing heat, too. Fastballs in the mid-90s.
It's an impressive rookie season.
Wow.
He finished with a 5-2 record and a 4.63 ERA in 8 starts.
Not too shabby for a rookie.
Not at all. Especially when you consider that he had the most rookie pitcher wins since Rodrigo Lopes back in 2002. So, that had to give him a huge confidence boost.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it showed the Orioles that they had something special on their hands, a real potential star.
Right. And the video really seems to point to his 2010 season as kind of a turning point.
Yeah, he appeared in 32 games, all as a starter,
Huh.
and he ended up with a 10-2 record,
Wow.
a 4.30 ERA, and 143 strikeouts. What do you think made that season so pivotal for him?
Well, that September winning streak has to be part of it, right? 5 consecutive wins.
That's incredible.
It's the kind of performance that electrifies the fans and really cements a player's place on the team.
Definitely. And during that streak, he held opponents to a .214 batting average.
Wow. Basically unhittable.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It really showed his ability to perform under pressure and solidified his role as a core player for the Orioles.
Yeah.
But, baseball's a tough game.
Yeah, the video doesn't shy away from the tougher parts of his journey either.
Right. He had his share of injuries,
Yeah.
like a lot of young pitchers.
And struggled with consistency at times.
Yeah. It's important to remember that baseball's a lot like life. It throws you curveballs.
Yeah.
There are going to be ups and downs.
Absolutely. And there was that point where he had to transition from being a starting pitcher to a bullpen role.
Oh, yeah. That's a tough adjustment for any pitcher.
Especially someone who had achieved so much success as a starter.
Right. You're going from being the guy every 5th day to, being ready to go in at a moment's notice.
I'm really curious about how he handled that shift, because it couldn't have been easy.
It definitely wasn't. Not every pitcher can make that transition gracefully. It requires a different mindset, a different set of skills.
And it says a lot about him that he was able to adapt and thrive in that new role.
It really does.
The video mentions that he became a real force as a left-handed specialist. In 2012, he held left-handed hitters to a 169 batting average.
Wow.
I mean, that's incredible.
Can you explain to our listeners what exactly a left-handed specialist does? It sounds pretty niche.
It is. It's a relief pitcher who's brought in specifically to face a tough left-handed batter, usually in a high-leverage situation.
So it's kind of a tactical move.
It's exactly like a chess game. The manager's thinking, okay, I need to get this lefty out. I've got my secret weapon.
Right, because most hitters are right-handed, so they tend to struggle more against left-handed pitching.
Exactly. It's all about matchups,
So it's not just about throwing hard or having a nasty curveball. It's about being able to shut down a specific type of hitter at a crucial moment in the game.
Right, and that takes a lot of mental toughness. You got to be able to handle the pressure.
Absolutely. And the video makes it clear that Matusz was more than just a great pitcher. He was deeply involved in the Baltimore community.
Oh, yeah. He embraced Baltimore as his home, and he was always willing to give back.
I love seeing those clips of him at youth baseball clinics, teaching kids the fundamentals of the game.
Yeah, passing on that love for the sport.
And he was involved in all sorts of community outreach programs, visiting hospitals, connecting with people on a personal level.
He had a real gift for making people feel seen. There's this one story that really stuck with me. One of his teammates recalls how Mattis would organize these impromptu bowling nights for the team, just as a way to unwind and bond outside of baseball.
I love that.
Just those little gestures that really make a difference in the team dynamic.
Absolutely. It shows he understood the importance of camaraderie, building those relationships off the field.
Right. It wasn't just about having fun. It was about creating a sense of family.
Exactly. And you can see that in the tributes from his former teammates.
They all talk about his positive attitude, his sense of humor.
Yeah. They say he can make you laugh even on the toughest days.
There's a story about this rookie who was struggling to adjust to life in the majors, feeling overwhelmed, homesick.
Ah,
And Mattis took him under his wing, invited him over for dinner, introduced him to his family,
that's so sweet.
just made him feel like he belonged.
He had such a big heart. It's clear that he genuinely cared about the well-being of others.
And that's what sets him apart, right? It wasn't just about his talent on the field. It was his character, his kindness, his authenticity.
Absolutely. A true testament to the kind of person he was.
It's a good reminder that true success isn't just about what you achieve. It's about the lives you touch along the way.
And that brings us to the lasting legacy that Mattis leaves behind.
The video highlights 3 key takeaways from his life: perseverance, authenticity, and finding joy.
3 powerful themes.
Let's break those down a bit. Starting with perseverance, can you tell us more about how that played out in his career?
Well, we talked about his transition to the bullpen, which was definitely an example of perseverance. But he faced so many setbacks throughout his career. Injuries, inconsistencies, times when he was sent down to the minor leagues.
It's easy to forget that athletes are human too.
Right. They face adversity just like everyone else.
And Mattis never gave up. He kept pushing forward, working hard, believing in himself.
And that's what perseverance is all about. It's not about avoiding setbacks. It's about how you respond to them.
And that ties in nicely with the second takeaway: authenticity.
Right? Even with all the pressure and expectations of professional sports, he stayed true to himself.
He didn't let fame or success change who he was.
He was grounded, humble, and always approachable.
And that's what resonated with people. They could see that he was genuine. He wasn't putting on an act.
And finally, we have finding joy. What are your thoughts on that?
It's so easy to get caught up in the pursuit of goals and achievements that we forget to enjoy the journey itself. But Mattis never lost sight of that.
He seemed to find happiness in the everyday moments, the camaraderie, the competition, just the simple act of playing the game he loved.
He understood that fulfillment comes from embracing the process. The ups and the downs, the challenges and the triumphs.
He didn't let the pressure of winning overshadow his love for the game. And that's a powerful lesson for all of us.
It's amazing, isn't it? We often talk about these guys, leaving a legacy on the field, but with Brian, it feels like his most enduring legacy might actually be off the field.
I think you're right. His impact on the community, the way he touched people's lives, that's what really stands out.
The video ends with this really thought-provoking question. It says, "What will you fill your dash with?" And they're talking about that little dash on a tombstone, between the date you're born and the date you die.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's powerful. It's your whole life summed up in this tiny little symbol.
And it really makes you think, what do I want that dash to represent? Do I want it to be filled with just accomplishments and achievements, or do I want it to be something more, something that reflects the kind of person I was, the impact I had on others?
I think that's the question we all have to ask ourselves at some point. What kind of legacy do we want to leave behind?
It's clear that Brian will be remembered for his kindness, his generosity, his unwavering spirit. He was a talented athlete, yes. But more importantly, he was a good man. He made a positive difference in the world.
And that's a powerful message for all of us. True success isn't about the trophies or the accolades. It's about the impact you have on others. It's about living a life filled with purpose and passion and leaving the world a little bit better than you found it.
And Brian did just that. His dash may have come to an end, but his story continues to inspire.
It's been a privilege to dive into his life with you today, and I hope our listeners are walking away feeling inspired as well. Maybe even a little bit challenged to think about their own dash and what they want to fill it with.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us. And to all our listeners out there, keep striving, keep shining, and keep making your dash count.